So if you're thinking about buying a business, obviously a big part of that decision is going to be your due diligence stage or the due diligence process. That's really where you'll make your decision if this business that you're looking at is a good fit for you. So let me walk you through what due diligence is, some of the questions and the frameworks you should be aware of when you're looking at doing due diligence. And the goal here is at the end of your due diligence period, you should have a big yes or a definite no on whether or not you're planning on moving forward with the business. So think about it as exploring different paths to make sure you're making the right choice in buying this business. My name's Trent Lee. I've sold a lot of businesses over the years, over 600 of the businesses, and I've done this a lot, been through the due diligence phase literally hundreds and hundreds of times. So let me just break down due diligence frameworks that you need to be aware of. So number one, checking the money, the financial due diligence. One of the most important things here. You need to look at how healthy the business is. Is it trending up? Is it trending down? Is it stable? We'll check if the business is making more money than it spends, if it's doing well, especially during tough times like COVID or economic downturn. It's important to see how much money that the seller has and is left over for the business, because sometimes you might need to spend more on people or tools. Next up is looking at how things are done, or operational due diligence. We want to see what tools and systems the current owner uses and what they might need to add if you were to take over the business. The truth is, a lot of times business owners are just outdated. Their systems and technology, their operations are not up to speed on current technology. You can make some major improvements and efficiencies there if they are outdated. So you want to understand what the business does and how it uses the systems, processes, everything operational to make sure that you have a good feel for that. Probably, unless you are an expert in this industry, don't make any changes immediately. Just get in there, if the business is profitable and working, just let it be for the first 6 months and then start making improvement. So next up is understanding customers, or what we call the customer due diligence. This is super important because we need to find out who buys from the business. Are there any big customers that make up most of the sales? And why do some customers leave? It's also about talking to customers and seeing what they like, if there's a chance to sell them more. All right, next up is knowing the team, the people due diligence. We can figure out who the key players are in the business and what would happen if they left. So this is about making sure that there are people who can do different jobs and planning who you might need to hire after you buy the business. You want to make sure that if a key person leaves, you're not stuck in the dark, not being able to operate, and the business starts trending down. All right, next up is learning about the industry, or industry due diligence. Once you buy the business, you definitely want to start joining some groups, trade shows, networking groups, consultants. Get a good feel for making sure that you stay in tune with what's really happening in the industry. Now, here's the reality. I don't usually recommend buying a business in an industry that you have no experience in. So I can't really offer any questions on this section because the questions will vary based on the industry of the business you're buying. Next up is understanding the seller, or seller's due diligence. The person selling the business is important to figure out, why are they selling their business? What's really going on? If something seems off, ask more questions. It's not just about the business's numbers, but you're also buying the business's culture that the seller has built. Finally, our planning for growth, or our growth due diligence. Most of the time, people don't buy a business just to let it sit there and not grow. You need to understand, how are you going to grow the business? What are you going to do to increase revenue, to increase services, to increase profitability? And then finally, there's legal due diligence. That's where you need some help from an attorney, a CPA, to help you through the legal aspect. Whatever you do me a favor, don't do due diligence on your own. it's not worth it, especially if you're getting ready to buy and make a major investment in a business like this. Hire a due diligence expert. If you need help with that or you need referrals with that, I can point you in the right direction. I hope this video helps you as you go through your journey of analyzing businesses, making offers, and getting through the due diligence phase, because that's really where the rubber meets the road and you're going to make your final decision. And if you've done proper due diligence, you can rest assured moving ahead that you've got the confidence that you're making good decision buying what hopefully is a gold mine rather than a money pit. Thanks and take care.